Again, we're looking at an old camera, the Nikon D50 in 2020. Hey, what's up you guys? Nick here. For those of you new to my channel, my name is Nick. I'm a professional photographer. I've been shooting professionally for the last 3 years. For those of you who are checking out another video, welcome back you guys. Today we're going to talk about the Nikon D50. As I said in my live stream and my video where I did my first look, which I will link that video up there, I discussed how a fan of mine had sent me a Nikon D50 in the mail for me to kind of give it a review and see what I liked about it. And so that's what we did. We went out and shot with Jessica and Ruby. Ruby is another photographer. She is just getting started out, and she came out to take some photos with us, so you might see her pop up in the B-roll a little bit. The model today was Jessica, and I'll have their information linked down below. So let's go over some basic facts about the Nikon D50. The Nikon D50 was released as a consumer grade camera in 2005 by Nikon. So this camera is 15 years old, and we know that I love old cameras. I have an affinity for old cameras. I don't know why, but I absolutely love them. And this one is no exception to that rule. This one's actually a little bit easier to use if you're used to the D3000, D5000, or the D7000 series cameras, because it only has the singular knob in the back, unlike the D70, which had both the knob in the front and back, and I'll link my video on the D70 up there. So this one has just the single knob on the back. It controls your f-stop and your shutter speed. It's just like the D50-300 and the D50-100, and we've done several videos on those already, and we're going to be doing several more videos on this, but today we're reviewing it for the year 2020. So the Nikon D50 in 2020. So I'm going to show a couple images real quick, so I'm going to step to the side. And as you can see, these are of Jessica. We took these literally just today before I'm recording this video, because I wanted to actually have a shoot under my belt with this camera before we went and did a video on it. I did a full review. Now, because it has the Nikon F bayonet mount, I was able to use my Yongnuo 50mm. We just did a video on that, as well as my Nikkor 35mm. And if you tuned into my live stream, you know that I don't like that lens, but the images actually came out pretty good, as well as my Tamron 18-200mm, and we'll be doing a video on that one because that lens is actually pretty spectacular. It's an older film lens. What's great about this camera body in particular, especially with that Tamron, is it has a built-in autofocus motor. So if you have old autofocus lenses from the film era that are Nikon, you can use this or the D70 in order to still have that autofocus capabilities, but it also works on the autofocus for the Nikkor as well as the Yongnuo. Now this is 6.1 megapixels, just like our Nikon D70, and whereas the Nikon D70s run between $65 and $100 on eBay, I was just looking, and you can pick up the D50 for as low as $35 on eBay. It is a consumer grade camera. Now this camera uses the exact same batteries that the D70 uses, and I believe the 7000 series and some of the full frame cameras use these batteries as well, so they're not obsolete. You can still find the batteries and the charger all over Amazon, and as I've discussed in the past, buy the Nikon batteries. You get way more battery life with it. I know they're expensive. You can get 2 of the cheap batteries for the price of 1 Nikon, but the 1 Nikon will last up to 4 times as long as one of those cheap batteries. I'm saying that from experience because I've used the cheap batteries in my 5100 series or my 5000 series camera, as well as the cheap ones in my D70 and my D70S. So this camera is pretty neat. It does use your standard SD card instead of the compact flash. So the D70 uses the compact flash. This one uses a standard SD slot. Now this will not read a card over 2 gigabytes. I tried it with a 4 gig, a 6 gig, a 12, a 32, and a 64 gig. It will not read any of them. I had to order some 1 and 2 gig SD cards on Amazon, which is what we were waiting for, that we talked about in the last video I did. So because we had to wait on those, this video is coming out later than I wanted. Now, this camera is very, very, very easy to use. It is a consumer grade camera. Again, they're super cheap. They got that cool bayonet mount and a built-in autofocus. Some of the complaints that I have read about these is the color is a little bit off. I didn't have that problem, but I shoot in RAW, so I was able to fix everything that could have been considered wrong in post, as you see from the photos that I'm showing on the screen, as well as in the B-roll. All that B-roll is taken right off this camera. from a GoPro that I had mounted on top of it. The camera is not light, it is a heavier camera. It's one sec. It's similar in size to the Nikon D70. As you can see, they are extremely similar in size. The LCD screen of the D50 is the same size as the D70's LCD screen, but this has one more knob than this one, so this hand grip here actually extends further out on the D70 than it does on the D50, so the D70 is a little bit bigger. Now, since you can only use 1 or 2 gigabyte cards in the D50, the problem I ran into is I ran out of memory really quick, about 186 raw images with a 1 gigabyte, double that for a 2 gigabyte, but the camera actually shoots pretty quick. I was able to get like cool action shots like her hair going like that, or her jumping off of that table right there. So it's still, the shutter count on this is fantastic. It's a hardy camera. It feels pretty hardy in my hand. I didn't even bother putting a neck strap on it because you all know how much I hate neck straps. But that is beside the point, and we just went on a little bit of a tangent. The controls are very similar to the D70. We are going to do a whole video where I go over shooting manual mode with this and how to use all the controls on it. But for a 15-year-old camera, where do I place it? As a beginner photographer or someone on a budget, where would I price this out at? And actually my out of 10 for this review, it's gonna be the same as someone who's experienced as well as someone just getting in, because I love this camera that much. This camera I am going to give a solid 8 out of 10 stars. Yeah, a solid 8 out of 10. It seems like I'm really positive with most cameras. If it takes good pictures, really, that's all that matters. If it's ergonomical enough, it takes good pictures, and as you can see, it takes great pictures. And we always talk about this. It's not necessarily the gear you own that matters. What matters is having an eye, understanding exposure, and I will link that playlist right up there, all about using manual mode, and your glass. The glass is what really is going to make your image. And we are going to go out with a kit lens for this because we're going to have to put it head to head against the Canon, and all I have for the Canon is a kit lens. So if anyone has a 50mm Canon 1.8 that they would let me go head to head with the Nikon and the Canon, please let me know. I will take really good care of it and I will give it back when I'm done. I just want to have a fair head-to-head, so it is going to have a kit lens thrown on it for that head-to-head shoot. But yeah, so because of the price, again, you can get them as low as $35 because of its age and the fact that it was a consumer camera, as well as the built-in autofocus motor, which is extraordinary on a consumer camera. It just makes using those old film lenses that have autofocus, but you need the internal motor, that much better, because those lenses you can get dirt cheap. The Tamron that I use for film lenses, they're like 40 bucks on eBay for one with no fungus in it. So it's absolutely a great deal if you're a budget photographer, or you're just getting in, or you want to learn, or you want a cheap camera that you can take hiking or camping and you don't have to worry about dropping and breaking it because it is so cheap. This is the camera for you. Again, it's a little bit on the heavy side. Some people don't like the color that it captures. I didn't run into that problem, but again, I only shoot in RAW, so I can adjust the colors exactly how I want them with every single photo I take. These were minimally processed. I adjusted the contrast a little bit and changed the white balance to kind of match the style I was going for, which is that kind of fall fashion style. And I got really lucky because there was not a lot of issues with the sun today. We all know that the sun likes to ruin photos, and we didn't have that problem. We had a decent amount of cloud cover, so we had that really nice soft light for most of the shoot, and then we were able to shoot in the shadows for the rest of it. So that's my thoughts on the Nikon D50, you guys. It is a fantastic little 15-year-old camera that seems to do exactly what I want it to do. It can use all of the Nikon F-mount lenses because Nikon does not changed their lens mount system since like the 1950s or 60s, so all the lenses I have are compatible with this. My older film lenses are compatible, and they'll even autofocus, which is fantastic in so many ways. So I would definitely say 8 out of 10. Go ahead and get yourself a Nikon D50, or don't. Leave them on the market so I can pick them up, because I am going to get a second one, maybe for a giveaway or something, because I really do like this camera. And again, I've only done one shoot with it. We will go out to the studio and shoot with it. The price, the fact it does what I want it to do, the ergonomics and how easy it is to use because it is a consumer camera, as well as the quality of images we can get out of it. 8 out of 10. definitely recommend. That's as a professional and as someone trying to get in or trying to learn, this is a fantastic camera to start with. Check your Facebook Marketplace for that as well. So I want to thank you guys again so much for joining me today for this quick video. I am going to start doing more of those live streams, so if you were one of the 10 people who jumped in on that, I answer questions, we talk about photography, we talk about cameras, we debate, all while I'm cleaning or editing photos, or I'm cleaning cameras or gear. And you kind of get an idea, some of that behind the scenes kind of action. You can see how much I actually edit out of my videos because I stutter through my words a lot. So please like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the bell notifications so you guys know right when I upload. Oh, and check out my merch. I've got a ton of cool photography merch. I've got some of it on the way for me to wear in the video so you guys can really see it, but here's an example, and here's another example. And the links to all my social media and my Redbubble will be down below. So thank you guys again so much for joining me, and I will catch you all on the flip side. Bye!